Um, was targeted by another narcissist, and it made me think and change my mind about something. This is a ministry, but it's going to be a different kind of ministry than people have been to their whole lives. You have to sit in a building and uh, be quiet, do this or that, follow the narc leaders' instructions, control tactics. It's not going to be like that. And the first thing to start this ministry, I will quote uh, Jesus himself. Uh, don't don't yoke yourself to slavery. That's from Jesus himself. Don't yoke yourself to slavery. So, and I believe that is uh, Galatians 5:1. Uh, freedom in Christ. Um, and uh, that's the first part of my ministry. I'm going to quote exactly what he said. Um, because he saw through the narc Pharisees of his day. He knew they were fake people, like completely fake, like no way around it. Like he saw right through them. Uh, just the way I saw through them when I was like 7 years old. Uh, so, anyways, so yeah, don't yoke yourself to slavery. So that includes a lot of things, like uh, even addictions. Coping, things that I still need to work on with, like, things that I use to cope, being around child abusers, psychopaths, basically, trying to think they own me, kind of a thing. Um, I had a lot of coping with that, tried to survive the best I could. So you have to, I'm gotta overcome our coping things uh, uh, that we that we use to get through. So like that include, if your thing was alcohol, overcome alcohol. If your thing was smoking, overcome smoking. Whatever it is that you use to cope and to try to numb out being around psychopaths. We got to overcome that too. You know what I mean? Like, that's the next step, I think, is overcoming our weaknesses and our addictions and our dependencies, because that's what the narcissists target and exploit. They target your weaknesses. If you have a weakness to money, they'll target money. If you have a weakness to uh, uh, just being around a body, an empty body, then they'll target that. You know what I mean? Like, even though I was around empty bodies most of my life, like, at least I could like practice talking to a fake person. You know what I mean? Like there was some back and forth, even though they weren't real people and they were just like drawing narcissistic supply from me. At least I was like, practicing my communication skills, back and forth. You know what I mean? Like pretending they're real, type of a thing. So you got to cut that out. You got to acknowledge they're not real people and they're just messing with you. So you got to like stop that messing with them addiction. You know what I mean? Like enabling them, like drawing them in on purpose to like practice conversation skills, um, type of a thing. Because I admit that like a part of me wishes the narcissist would have given the final blow to me. You know what I mean? They did everything except give that final blow, and it would have been so much easier, so much more convenient if they just finish me off instead of just doing everything except finishing me off. You know what I mean? Like my body, like finishing off my body. It would have been so much better, easier, no recovery, in this life, no struggle. If they just would have finished what they started, in my mind, but they never did. They just left me barely alive intentionally. Uh, they just left me barely alive, left my body, of course. They left my body, but they destroyed everything else, but they left my body, basically. Um, and that's what they do. They'll do everything, even if you play nice. And this is key. Even if you play nice, like you're around a bear, you're trying to play dead, like I did, like play dead, play nice, they'll still destroy you. It doesn't matter if you play nice; they'll destroy you still. Uh, and that's something you got to get in your head is like they will destroy you still, even playing nice, even playing dead. They will still destroy you, and that's key to understand. So you might as well take the risk and get away, even though there is a risk that they could finish you off if you escape. They switch, and you're like an enemy now, and you stop the playing nice thing, and so you become an enemy. Um, and you got to realize that, but you got to weigh the risks, like I did. I'm like, playing nice didn't even work. Playing nice didn't even work. They still destroyed me. Playing nice, they just they they took me out. It didn't help to play nice and play dead like I'm around a grizzly bear, like it felt like I was around grizzly bears. Uh, they don't stop till there's nothing left. Remember that. They don't stop. Um, it escalates. So yeah, I wish I would have known this when I was younger. Like, oh, they'll never change, and they'll keep destroying you until there's nothing left of you. They're not going to change. They're not going to see the error of their ways. They're just going to keep escalating. And that's what happened. They just kept escalating, 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 until there was nothing left of me. And that's an important lesson to remember, is that uh, they don't see the error of their ways. They never do, because they're not part of the human race, in my opinion. They're like this different species among us, in my opinion. It's like a whole different species than the real humans among us. And that's not like a cut down, it's just the reality. And the narc poacher made the same uh evaluation as, and I agree. They don't think like humans, like with the full spectrum of emotions, uh caring about other creatures, like any kind of caring. They don't have that. They have the pretending down, and the image. But other than that, they don't feel empathy. And like, even I feel more empathy, and that's crazy. I'm like a traumatized, almost dead guy, and I still feel more empathy than they do, you know? And that's crazy to me that I feel more empathy than they do. Me. Someone that is a I claim that I'm pretty much mostly dead, I'm like 10% empathy, you know. That's how they left me. They left me less than dead, you know. Uh but anyways, yeah, this is a ministry because I was attacked, and so we're going to step it up. We're going to make it a ministry now. Like, I'm not promising it's as good as Jesus's ministry. Like like not even close. Like I'm just saying that up front. But I think can't hurt to just quote the guy, I think the guy makes sense, even though all religions just ignore him, ignore his teachings and just brainwash kids and abuse kids. Totally what Jesus is not about. Jesus is not about uh narcissists attacking kids. He's not about that. From what I've read, even though it happened to me, like, and I thought that's what Jesus was about, I don't think, from what I've read, he's not about that. Um, but anyways, hopefully, but from what I've read and what I've gathered, Jesus is not, uh, that's not what he wants. He doesn't want narcopaths running children into the ground, in religion. Uh, and then cover it up with Jesus's name. You know what I mean? Put Jesus on the building. Put Jesus's name on the building to cover up the abuse from the psychopaths. Put Jesus's name. So they hide behind Jesus's name, you know what I'm saying? Like they use it as a cover, and that it's just a false front, but mainly for money and control and power. Whatever the narcissist needs, they use to their advantage. Even Jesus's name they use, I've seen it my whole life. They'll use God as a card, they'll use the God card, you know what I mean? To have power over you, to have control over you, to have dominion over you, to abuse you nonstop. They'll use the God card, God gave me authority. God gave me authority to be a to be a cult leader basically over my family. You know what I mean? God ordained it, God didn't ordain that shit. God didn't ordain that garbage to the narcopath, Uh, in my opinion, I don't care if it is true. I don't even care if any religion is legit, you know. Did Christ start a religion? No. He didn't start a religion. From what I've read in the books, he didn't start a religion. You know what I mean? He didn't do that. He did what he was supposed to do, and then suffered the sins of the world. And but he didn't like start a building, start, teaching every Sunday. You know what I mean? He didn't do that robotic religion operation thing. He didn't start that, from what I've read. I don't think he wanted that. It's not what he was, because that's what the narcissist created, in my opinion. The narcissist created religion, and then they tagged Jesus's name on top of it. You know what I mean? And just like said it was ordained by Jesus. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, I don't know if I don't know if I'm not saying this ministry is ordained by Jesus, because it's not. But I'm gonna do my best, you know, uh, to enforce what I've learned from the Bible, from what I've read, and uh, yeah, and being attacked this latest time, I'm like, all right, maybe I should start a ministry, but not like, and not be like, you know, and I don't claim to be like Jesus at all, you know what I mean, or on that kind of level. I don't claim that. I barely even claim Christianity. But this last attack, I'm just like, screw it. This is a ministry. A different kind of ministry that no one's ever seen before. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we don't meet in buildings. Fuck that shit. No buildings. Uh, we don't pass around a cup for money. We don't do that. And then we don't control each other. That's a big one. We don't control each other. Uh, yeah, no control. So those are the rules. Um, don't control another human. That's a big one. Um, but anyways, yeah. Galatians 5:1. Don't yoke yourself to slavery. That's the message. For to start this ministry. That's the message. Fuck the narcissists. Fuck them. They're psychopaths anyways. Fuck them. You know what I mean? And if you want to give me the middle finger, that's fine too. As long as you're being yourself. You know what I mean? As long as you're being yourself. That's all I care about. Anyways, that's all I want to say. Uh, yeah. Like, I don't know. That's all I wanted to say. Later.